Welcome back again to the Outer Dimensions podcast, the podcast where those crazy maniacal dimension hoppers, Dre and Dave, discuss movies from past, present, and maybe even some future news. So this week we are back at it again. Last week we were talking about the best of 2023. Now we are talking about the best of the DC expanded universe animated films. That's right, the DC animated films, which tend to last and have, well, let's be honest, more staying power than the actual live action movies, and at least they
True.
don't have to reboot it every single time, although sometimes they do. So we both me, Dave's Dimension, and Dre, the SEO,
I'm the
the
CEO, baby.
COO,
I'm the CEO, CFO, Chief CCO, whatever you
and to
want to
some
call it.
people, a UFO.
Yes. Nanu, for those that get it.
And okay, everybody, let's take a moment to throw some shade at Dre. We're talking DC animated films, and the
I'm wearing a Captain America
man's
shirt.
wearing a Captain America shirt.
Damn Skippy.
And which watch are you wearing right now?
I'm
Spidey
not
or
wearing
Cap?
either one. I took it off, but I had my
Okay, see.
I did have my
So
Avengers watch on.
those listening to us, Dre's rocking Marvel. That that's that that's what a player does. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm here to talk DC, but I'm rocking Marvel
Exactly. You know,
because
when the
he
white
don't give a
Spider-Man
fudge.
mother-in-law gets you the Avengers watches, you gotta pick which one you're gonna rock. But
Because he don't give a fudge.
I don't give
So,
a fudge.
Dre, how are you today?
I'm actually really good. I've been this is my third live today. So for those of you that have not had a chance to view me today, hello. I'm happy to see you guys.
Yes, his third live, and tomorrow he will be enrolling in Podcasters Anonymous.
Yes,
You know,
I
it's
apparently I need to. But no, it was good. It was a good day at the comic shop. We did not, like I said earlier, we did not score the Snuffleupagus chase figure. We got 2 Ernies and an Oscar.
are
Which
you
we
are you on the Lego kick?
No, the littlest one, Peanuts on the bag clips. Is that
Okay.
so we've been buying these from the comic shop every week I've gone, and we cleaned out the box. Like we grabbed the last packs today. So, but other than that, we've been good. We have not. It's been bitter cold. I will state that. Like
Man, no. You don't
we haven't
get
had
away.
snow like this.
You don't get to say that.
I know. I knew. I was waiting for you to tell me that.
See, those that don't know, Dre's in the South.
I'm in North Carolina for everybody that
Okay,
knows.
that's still the South to me.
I know.
I'm all the way up in New York State. I'm in basically the Buffalo, New York region,
He's near
and
Canada.
I know people who have 5 feet of snow in their yards right now. Okay, 5 feet of snow. Okay, I mean, some
I mean,
people
I
have a
feel bad.
little bit over that. Some people are close to 6 to 7 feet in the South towns, because we get the snow from Lake Erie between us and Ohio, and Ontario, Lake Ontario between us and Canada, or Canada, if you really want to go there. Real Batman, what's up? What is up, everyone?
RB.
Hope all is well with everyone. Me, I have potential right now, but you guys will know once things are official, if so things are going good. I did order a few things for Project Grid, so I'm looking forward to that
So
because
Duff, what's
stronger
good? I hope
power.
you feel better. Hope you're feeling better. I heard the other day that you were not feeling good. So, you always got your brothers and sisters in the collective safe space to look out for you, brother.
Yeah, Duff, take care of yourself right now. Yeah, Will, it's like 20 degrees right now, but the wind chill makes it like, I think, I want to say it's like more
What's the
like
temperature?
5.
What's the temperature? Let me see.
What's the temperature, Siri?
It's 33 degrees right now. It's gonna be
No,
18.
your
We're gonna
business.
drop to 18 degrees tonight. So, hey, Colin, what's good?
Yeah, we have a lake effect warning until 7 p.m. tomorrow. So, yeah. So,
Oh no,
it's
we know we honestly it's before we
Hon-
got on the stream, RB, it was actually really good. Like we were just kind of cracking jokes and talking about what some of our future plans that we have for the show, and some projects we're working on.
Yes, excellent, excellent.
Yes. But I mean, overall, it's just they got a lot of free.
Oh yeah,
show.
no joke, man.
You let us know.
Fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, you let us know. You got
You know,
my number. You shoot me a text, and we will figure something out.
another
Hey,
person whose health isn't always the best all the time. Kat, I hope you're doing better.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in a hot minute. I hope you're doing good. But
You better be doing good.
But yeah, I've been trying to, I've been trying my best to try to do, and I know Dave and I both have talked about this. Y'all know I work the night shift now, so I don't have as much free time. But I do try to put your videos, if I do see them, on
In a queue.
I put them in like kind of a watch list, and I will watch them. And I may not be like commenting on every video, but I will give it a thumbs up. I will.
Clarification: when Dre says watch list, he means a list of movies or a list of videos and streams that he will watch during his free time. Obviously, he doesn't mean the government kind of watch list. Let's just get that straight. Well,
I have connections to those kind of watch lists, so
I'm just saying,
but
just clarifying.
No,
so yeah, everybody, we're going to be talking DC animated films. Now, these are not the strict top 5 of all time. These are top 5 that we enjoy the hell out of, or that we really got a lot out of it, or that it just hit us in our comic book nerd cores. That's what this is all about. Real Batman. Real Batman is one of the best right there.
No, he gets my joke where I made that whole. You got.
Oh yeah, I do too. I wasn't going to comment on that.
Yeah, I know. I just love that he got
it.
I just love that he got it. So yeah, this one. So let me explain the criteria for this list. So Dave and I were going to originally just do one list between the two of us, but then Dave made a very solid point. He's like, Dre, you and I, as close as we are, we do differ in some movie taste that we pick. So
and we do butt heads in that regard too.
It's true. Like we do. It's like we definitely differ. So he was like, hey, let's make it where there's 2 different lists, your list, my list, and then we'll let the fans, you guys, the audience, tell us what you guys think and chime in. So that's kind of been what inspired this. And then of course I had to name this, and Dave didn't. I thought Dave was uploading it to my Google Drive. So the name of this is actually called Best Films Battles, the BFB series, and this is episode 1. We technically started it last week, but that was kind of like a test for the waters. But several people have always approached us since we started the show to do lists like this and kind of give our reasons and rationales as to why we like the films, and they like hearing me and Dave hash it out with each other. So that's kind of what we, of course, brother. Just not the. I love it. So the list is like this. So the list compromises 5 movies and 1 honorable mention. So we looked at 5 films that we feel are like top tier. You should watch them. If you haven't watched them, you can watch them multiple times. It would be my preference to watch these films over other films that I'd be wanted. That if I'm like, I want to put this as like a movie I want to watch.
That's exactly what I did. These are movies that I can watch over and over and over again. And in fact, some of these movies I did watch last week.
I know. I would say I watched at least 3 of these movies last week. So, and then the other criteria is I look at the DCEU as a whole. Now, mind you, I did watch The Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, which was a terrible DC animated film. The only saving grace to it is that if you watched Justice League Dark War, the War of Apocalypse, the last film that was the end of this amazing.
I still have to watch that at some point.
That movie has ties to The Crisis on Infinite Earths.
So it kind of breadcrumbs into it.
What happened?
It kind of breadcrumbs into it.
It does, and it doesn't. Like it does because I don't want to give things away. You there's a character that becomes like a multiversal being that
Yeah.
was tied to that movie, and it's not the Flash, which is really go figure. The Flash should have been the big thing, but it's they actually bring in a couple of different tie-ins from other DC films, animated
Okay.
films. But let's actually get into the list, and we'll go into it so you guys can see. And again, comment
And
what you guys.
they probably figured since okay, DC TV shows did the multiverse, they sprinkled it in the Batman meets Supergirl movie. So now they're like, hey, animated, let's just bring the multiverse in. Plus, they have so many different storylines and you know voices actors who voiced the same characters over the years. I mean, look at Superman. George Newbern has voiced him. Jerry O'Connell has voiced him.
And he's actually been
Tim,
he's the current Superman.
yeah, Tim
You know?
Daly has voiced him.
Yep.
I mean,
Tim
they have
Daly's
so many
actually
people.
the iconic animated, you know.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
let's get into
even people who saw what the TV show on Netflix or the TV show on USA Network many years back, White Collar, the guy who played Neil has voiced Superman.
that's
I
true.
mean, everybody's voiced Superman at this point. I think Dre's slated to voice Superman next. I
No,
mean,
I'd want to voice Batman. I'm going to voice any superhero, Batman or Flash,
I'm Batman.
because I
Yes.
don't want to do that like gravelly voice that I hate that they all do. Even Jensen Ackles, who I love that he's doing the voice of Batman now.
Well, that's just his voice. That's just Jensen's voice is like, I haven't seen, and I mean, personally, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him do an attempted, live action, but
The,
I'm just saying,
look, even RB voice Batman. See,
I voice Batman.
so let's get into our list. I'm like excited.
But there's only one Kevin
I don't know
Conroy.
Dave's picks, so I'm
Yeah,
very.
Dre might look at me sideways. And by the way, the 5 picks and 1 honorable mention, that's going to be the template for our
Most of
for
these.
we're going to be doing the 80s, we're going to be doing the 90s.
The streamer one I only chose 4. That's when I broke the.
I still have to go through my streamer picks because I have to pick out a few movies that are just streamers only.
So for those of
So
you that don't know, I did challenge Dave. I said it to be the challenge was
and not on a short school bus kind of way either. Not that kind of challenge.
exactly. So the challenge was I said I wanted to
And not the
see
hot ones.
if we can look at just movies that went direct to streaming, meaning that you'd have to go back a few years, obviously, to the COVID era, and look and
Well,
see what came
you
out.
you could go with a few Netflix movies which have been straight to stream.
Exactly, and I did. Most of my picks were 2 of my picks were Netflix. I think 3 of my picks were Netflix, and the honorable mention might have been, uh, yeah, my honorable mention I think it was Apple TV. Just if that gives any sprinklings.
So let's get right into this. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Are you ready?
Wow.
Yeah.
So we chose now. Dave did warn me that there were some crossovers for this.
Yeah.
Now,
There
obviously,
was. Yeah. Because I told Dre, I said we actually picked as 2 separate times. We did pick the same movie, but not the same ranking. So I moved my ranking so they would match up.
so
Just to
obviously,
be fair.
this film. I was living in Virginia when this came out, and
But my poster's better. Yes.
I chose the Blu-ray cover. I wanted the Blu-ray cover because I love this image of the Red Hood being like superimposed.
Well, I just Googled it. I found this. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going with that.
So for those of you that didn't know, this movie was actually Jensen Ackles' first voice acting role in the animated universe because he had done the anime Supernatural series at that point, and then he did the Scooby-Doo crossover in Supernatural where he was animated and did his own voice.
And he was trying to hit on Daphne the entire damn time.
Exactly.
Freaking hilarious.
So, of course, this was one of those films that's very good, Under the Red Hood, based on Death in the Family. You know, where you have the loss of Tim Drake Robin being killed by the Joker, and
no, it wasn't Tim Drake.
No, not Tim Drake. Jason Todd. Sorry,
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd obviously gets killed by the Joker. And
look at me correcting the comic book expert. Yes.
Well, that's done. There's like how many Robins? Before you start making that comment, how many Robins are there? Too many.
Hey, Rex.
So the premise of the film doesn't really give us that it's a multiverse, but you did have a very awesome star-studded cast in this film. Kevin Conroy, voice obviously iconic voice of Batman. You had Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris, voice Nightwing, and then you had Red Hood.
Sorry, I have to correct you. It wasn't Kevin Conroy.
Was it oh god, was it
You know who I'm talking about?
Pike?
Pike from the J.J. Abrams, and also
Yes.
he is on the
Actually,
show
Pike.
The Resident, medical show The Resident that was on Fox.
Yes. I can't remember his name.
I'm blanking on his name, but he's appeared in a lot of good stuff. He's actually done Batman a few times now.
He
But
did
yeah,
several Batman voiceovers. Let me just get his name.
yeah.
because now-
Neil Patrick Harris plays Dick Grayson, and he plays him very well. I mean, come on, MPH can play
He stayed. Bruce Greenwood. That's who it
Bruce
was.
Greenwood. Yeah,
Thank you.
MPH is great in here as Nightwing. I mean, he's great at everything. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not just saying like Harold and Kumar, but like he recently played old school villain from Doctor Who. Friggin' nailed it. Like seriously, I think he could even play. And I know this is gonna be a hot take, so please direct all your shade at Dave's Dimension 78 at gmail.com. I can see him playing the Joker live action. I seriously can see him doing that. And I know that's a hot take.
I will throw some shade on that later at a later date.
See?
But yeah, the honest take for this film is one of the best, like for its time period. I think the year that this movie was released, it was one of the best DC animated films, like for a Batman, because outside of the comic book
I
realm,
think
we
it was
never gotten this
an
story.
adrenaline shot for the DC animated at that point in time. I think it was a major booster.
Oh, it was a solid movie. I'm excited. I'm kind of sad because I know DC with Warner Brothers Discovery has kind of axed a lot of their projects right now, and sadly, the DC animated is catching a lot of flack for it right now, and they're going to be losing a lot of projects. One of which was an Aztec Batman movie series we were supposed to get, which I'm very sad about because as an Hispanic, I was hoping we'd get that to see Batman kind of told through like an Aztec view, and the cast was all set up and they animated it. It was
they were going. I mean, they're kind of going. I don't want to be an ass, but they're kind of going the McFarlane route where we're getting different iterations of Batman, but these iterations were badass, like Gotham by Gaslight. What was the Shogun one when Joker and Batman and everyone were like sent back in time in like feudal Japan? I thought that was insanely awesome.
Well, that was actually done by they tried to do that like the Animatrix, where it was several different studios and it came together to like animate.
I thought that was I love that.
It was really good. I mean, did I think it would make this list? No, because I fell asleep through parts of it because it did get boring.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't have that with Batman Under the Red Hood.
Oh, it's because
there are no slow moments, no lulls. It's punch after punch after punch after punch. I mean,
a shot because it's Jason Todd. He does bang bang.
No, you know,
we can't talk about that. The word, he's bang bang.
You take him to the bar too, the crowbar.
Exactly. So, not bad that we both have the same pick. I'm kind of interested in when we have different picks because then we can actually do a little bit more discussion. But
I mean, like, this is just this. It's. I mean, This is one that I think every Batman fan wants a live action of, if done properly.
Well, we're finally going to get live action Damian, which I'm very happy for. But a live action Jason Todd would be dope. So. Hey Rex, a Red Hood, you might need to have to design one.
And honestly, those that don't know, especially if you're Jensen Ackles fan, he in real life actually has a full blown Red Hood outfit modeled after this. He's worn it in real life, and they even featured it on a dummy at like a comic book shop in an episode of Supernatural.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he even like, he looks past it, he checks it out. So I mean, he's a major Batman fan, and we've said this before, when you get hardcore fans involved, that's when you can take an IP to a level it hasn't gotten before.
Oh, ooh, Rex. We might have to talk when I get some more space.
There you
Or
go.
bread. We may have to talk. So let's go on to fourth pick because obviously
Okay.
we know what this pick was. So I want to see if we have a different one on four. Wow, we do radically different. So
Now, I mean,
go with
your
yours.
pick. I love anything that with John Constantine. Anything with Constantine in it. And I mean, come on, Justice League Dark. That scene when the shades are like hovering around Batman, and he says, "Boo." I'm like,
He goes,
come
"Boo."
on.
And that's also Bruce Greenwood doing the voice for Batman in this film
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I mean, he does a good Batman. He really does.
Wow, man, I can't believe you chose Superman and the Elite. I did not like that movie.
I chose it because those that don't know, there's these new heroes that kind of come onto the scene, but they take it to an extreme. Like they're willing to take people out, they're willing to get paid. You know, the elites, and they've done some iterations of the elite, even on Supergirl, believe it or not. They introduced the characters separately on Supergirl. Um, Manchester Black, I think he is a phenomenal character. I love him in any iteration because it's kind of like, think of like Batman. Think of someone who was trying to be a Batman or who was trying to be a vigilante, and they're just sick of the status quo. They're kind of going the anarchy route, but they, because of their abilities and because the crowd, like everyone starts loving them, they kind of push Superman to a point where it almost looks like he goes the Batman route and kind of crosses a line.
Nope.
You
Superman.
know,
There's only 3 times Superman's crossed that line in the modern era.
no, but it makes people think that though, and that's one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when he's taking. It looks like he's taking them on, and he's right near the end, and you think that like he's really gone that way, but he hasn't. He did not cross the line, but he made it appear that way so he could strike fear back. And this is just one of those movies like, imagine people like losing faith in Superman, not at his fault, but because of other people.
I mean,
And it blew me away. I never, we didn't see Superman in animation or in live action kind of get to that point. Comic books, yeah.
like I said, I can't really argue. I could argue Dave's point, right, folks? Like we all know I could argue it, but I'm not going to because this is his pick, and it's not a bad pick. I'm not that big of a Superman fan. Superman did make this list though. I will say that I did have a Superman movie animated film make my list. But obviously for me, Justice League Dark, um, it is probably one of the best animated films that takes you to a level to where Batman was chosen to go like, hey, the Justice League doesn't want to like. It's sort of like how Wolverine. Now, for those of you that don't know, Cyclops, when he went to form X Force, Xavier went to Cyclops and said, "I need you to put a covert team together that can do the things I can't have the X Men do and get in trouble." And
Hmm.
Batman did that with the Justice League Dark. It's like, hey, you are the people that are touched by the occult, magic, whatever, and can do the things that the Justice League can't do because if we do
Or won't do.
or won't do, it doesn't look good. But
Be-
it
because our
keeps,
boy Johnny,
and of course you enroll John Constantine,
Matt
which
Ryan,
I mean, who was voiced
Matt
by Matt
Ryan,
Ryan, and he voices his character throughout the from this movie forward.
yeah,
So
and
from every
he
animated
was
film
live
that
action.
Constantine's in. So
He
from
was
his
live
live
action
action,
on the NBC show and on DC Legends of Tomorrow. I know Dre was not a fan of that show.
I was I was till the end of it. I wasn't a fan of the. I was starting not to like how they were the direction the show was going.
It was getting more cheesier. Let's be honest.
It was, but the fact that we had Matt Ryan step in and then he animates, they voiced him. He did a
Hey,
great job.
creativity.
Hey, creativity. I loved the Zatanna. I love seeing her. and I loved Bruce
I
Greenwood
think
as
it's the
Batman.
outfit. Let's be honest.
Dead Man was hilarious
Yeah,
because I love that he's a ghost that nobody else could see, and then he's like, "Yo, he's got that Boston accent." And he's like, "Yo, it's Batman. Hey, does he see me?" And then Batman's just like staring at him, just like
he
he doesn't see
bets.
him, but he's like looking right at him.
Yeah,
And it's just Bruce Greenwood does such a brilliant job of doing the character just that, like
Ju-
the way they
that that
animated
that
and
that
Greenwood's voice,
stoic, like just
and he doesn't do the gravelly voice like our boy
no.
Conroy. He
It's
rests in peace.
his natural voice.
It's his natural cadence, and that's what makes it such a good. The
Yeah,
film, obviously, the
I
story is
mean,
solid because we get Swamp Thing. Even though Swamp Thing was only in this movie for like 5 seconds,
it
I
was still
still like
badass.
he was badass, and I loved it. I wish we got more of him in it. And they definitely have said that they want to do an animated Swamp Thing movie dedicated to his character. So yes, please do it.
I
Um,
mean, I love the live action movies, even though they're really bad.
no, the
With
best is the
Swamp
TV
Thing.
show that James Wan did
Yeah,
from the
well, I
Constantine.
still need to watch that,
I
but
gave you
I'm
that,
like,
didn't
no.
I? I had to put it on the drive.
Yep. Yeah, they all just go to the CW app. Um, but yeah, I mean, like Dre said, this is like Batman puts together the team of people who kind of they're kind of the magical rogues in a way. I mean, come on, let's face it, John Constantine doesn't care who he will cross as long as he gets the job done.
What it was, the House, Dead Man, Constantine, Zatara, Swamp Thing, and Etrigan.
Yeah.
And Batman. That was the team for this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like think of the magical expendables, pretty
Gone,
much.
gone the time of man. Be
Yes.
born the demon Etrigan.
God. Yes.
Folks, you gotta like that. That's why I love watching this movie. Because Etrigan is such an awesome character, and he's just
And
you've seen him in
he
so
he
many
appeared
things.
he appeared in the original Justice League cartoon, and I want to
He
say
was in
he
Justice
appeared
League.
in Batman the Animated Series too
Yes,
towards
he
the
did.
end.
He was in Batman the Animated Series. Jason Blood's character showed up.
Yep.
We were introduced to him again in Unlimited because he became a member of the team. And then
Yes.
he was in the Justice League Dark film. He was in the Justice League Apocalypse movie film. He's been in several of these movies, and it's the same voice actor for
Yeah.
that's been over. And in Batman Beyond, I think he was actually in an episode of that too, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look that
I
up.
feel like I remember seeing Etrigan's Jason Blood's character
Yeah.
in the future. I just don't remember if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong,
Well,
folks, let me know.
he is an immortal, so yeah.
I mean, he is like, yeah, because he is a demon soul. So,
Yeah. So
but those
yeah,
are
I
our
mean,
picks, folks. What do you think?
do
Was
you
this the best
agree?
films? I mean, I love interacting with you guys because this is partially why we make these lists because y'all asked for them. So this is what we think. I chose Justice League Dark for my reasons because I love Batman, and he chose the Elite with Superman versus Superman. I did see the movie, I just didn't love it. But
Mhm.
let us know in the comments. Let's hit the third one. Let me see if I'm gonna be surprised. Wow. Wow. I am surprised. Like Dave did say I would get surprised at this list.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Uh, Will says, I've only seen Under the Red Hood so far. Okay,
Listen, Will,
can't argue
you
with any of the picks really.
I
See,
know they're so good. They're all good. I mean, like you can argue if they're good or not, but
and
like
Will said it was great. It really was. It's
it was solid. So I'm gonna start with my pick first because I can talk forever about the Dark Knight Returns and how great a Batman film it was, the two parts that it was. But Reign of the Supermen, it was a solid ass movie. Like it, if you are a Superman fan that wanted to see the death of Superman as a comic book animated brought to life, the Reign of the Supermen did it. And we've always wanted to see John Henry Irons as Steel,
mhm.
Superboy. We want to see the Eradicator, and it was so awesome. Like Dave knows, I just got my hands on the Mafex Steel. He should be here tomorrow, so
I'm contemplating that one because of you, you
I
son of
need
a
it. I need it.
mother.
I need that one. Like the McFarlane could, that's what I said, McFarlane. But Reign of the Superman, folks. Jerry O'Connell as the iconic voice of Superman. Now, obviously, you see the death of Superman, where Doomsday kills him, which was a great animated movie in and of itself that did not make this list, but it could have easily made this list. You get the Kryptonian armor Superman. And
Yes.
Terry O'Connell did such a great job voicing, kind of leading the super team. Like he got Teen Superboy, and then you got Steel. It was
Well,
so good.
see, and I can't fault Dre for this pick because whenever I see an image of the reign of Superman, whether it's Cyborg Superman, whether it's Superboy, in if we're going, even if you go take it back to the classic clone with the '90s leather coats and the earrings with the shaved haircut,
Yeah, we had the
because
Caesar. He had the Caesar
because
haircut.
I was reading and collecting comics back then. I remember reading the death of Superman. I remember reading the origins of each of the various Supermen who were coming out. How you had the four, and then of course you had the fifth, which was the original, who was recuperating, and he had the solar suits. And reading those comics, so anytime I see an image like that, that doesn't take me back to the cartoon iterations. That takes me back to reading the comic books,
Just
looking
some
at
of the
panel
best.
by panel by panel, the destruction of Coast City. I mean, just the whole storyline, and Lex Luthor with a beard and long hair hooking up with Supergirl. I mean, there's just so much craziness throughout that whole storyline.
It's
Eradicator was
solid,
so badass, though.
solid.
Eradicator was badass in his sacrifice, of course. I mean, it was the '90s. I mean, '90s were like, they were like a
That
golden
was
age.
iconic. You can't, like, for
I
those of you
I
that
hate
did
to say
not
golden
grow up.
age of comics, but it really was for us.
Oh no, it was the 90s. As a comic book fan, a lifelong comic book fan, the the best time to be a comic book fan was the 90s. That was when you had Jim Lee and Scott Campbell doing the X-Men. You had Spawn was starting to now rear his head. You had McFarlane doing Spider-Man before he even
Yeah.
did Spawn. You had
Remember
so
the
many.
X-Men Onslaught saga?
Oh my god. Then you had Heroes Reborn with
Yeah. I mean,
Liefeld doing the X-Men and X-Force and Deadpool. I mean, folks, I could go down a whole list, and that's for comic chats. But
yeah.
like this movie to me
It it it
represented
hits.
that.
It hits the nostalgia, and that's why I'm guessing that's really deep down. That's part of why you picked it. Was it just
Oh,
brings
it
back
did.
so many memories, and it's so iconic.
I mean, dude, I remember going to 6 different comic stores with my dad at the time, and we were trying to get the Death of Superman, and then the Rebirth of Superman, and then you had to get the 4 books because they sold the Death Black and Red. Then you needed the Rebirth,
Yep.
the white bag, and then you needed to get the other Superman books. And I remember going with my dad to try to get those books, and it was like the
Well,
craziest times to
what
be a comic book fan.
reading those books, what blew me away wasn't that all these other people were stepping up to take on the mantle of Superman. It was when Clark was in the afterlife, and he sees Jonathan, and he finds out why he died. He died because of his human upbringing, because he was taught that life ends and that people die and they go to an afterlife. And that blew me away. That his humanity was kind of that kind of what tipped him to die. You know?
For those of you that are anime fans, it's very Goku. It's very Goku, like Goku dying and
Yeah.
going to the
Yeah.
realm of the Kai. When he's
Basically, yep.
dead because he has to earn his spot because yeah, you were powerful, but your
Yeah.
hubris is what's going to teach you here.
Yes.
And Superman had to get that hubris and get in the Kryptonian armor to then come back and then be weaker than he
Y-
was.
You're bringing back stuff that I read like when I was, in high
14,
school
16.
and
Yeah.
junior high, and I mean, that's an image. Just looking at the image alone, and we're just talking about it,
It
and it's
evokes a
bringing back
memory,
those
dude.
memories. You know?
And Ricardo, it's good to have you in here. And Duff, you know what? For those of you, okay, I have a question to the chat. So if you guys have not seen any of the movies so far, which are the 3 movies or the few movies we talked about,
Hmm.
give us a smiley face, because if you guys haven't seen these movies, I'm willing to do a full on review of a few of these because
Yeah, if you guys want like a top 5, we can do like you guys. Tell you what, um, we can set up a poll, or you guys can just message us with if you want us to review these animated movies. And by the way, anyone who happens to have Max as a streaming service, you can pull up these movies and view them there
Yes, for now. For now.
until they
And
send them over to Netflix.
And I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna go over to Netflix, but I will say this: if you guys
See,
have not, and
well,
I'm
you
gonna
guys have to let us know what top 5 you would like.
yeah, if you guys want us to do like a general top 5 where Dave and I have to basically kind of bite the bullet and say, hey,
Now, you guys can go to Google and type in DC animated movies, and it'll give you the entire list of everything that's been made. And if you
exactly,
want to pick 5,
there's
we
like
can do 5, and then maybe you guys pick another 5, and we'll do that as another episode. So I mean, we can definitely review those. I think they definitely have more staying power than the more recent DC live action movies.
110%. But I will state this: if you guys are interested in these sorts of things, where we do, like I said, I have a ton of projects. Dave and I have talked about it. I have
Yes.
projects set through to the summer for us, and I'm breaking the projects up so we could have little series. And if this is part of this episode 1, so if you guys really like this, I'm willing to bring it back and do like full on in-depth reviews of just the individual movies. So that way we can talk about it. So a top 5 list of like where Dave and I kind of bite the bullet and talk about like a general pick, I'm willing to do that. So, and I know a lot of you guys, if you haven't watched them, I'm going to tell you now, get them while they're on physical media. They're on Amazon and they're under $10. A lot of these movies you can get for $10 or cheaper, and they're really, really good.
And
And
I mean,
Dave's picking up buying something. I really like it.
the writing and acting on a lot of these films are actually really good.
And they are direct from the comics. So just for people that didn't ask me, why didn't I put because I know I haven't put the Killing Joke did not make this list, but
And I did not choose it either
it should have.
because
I should have put it on this list.
I didn't choose that because of some of the scenes that appear in that movie. I think they're very strong.
Oh, they're
And
adult. They're very
yeah,
adult.
I mean, what Commissioner Gordon goes through
But the
is
soliloquy. Listen. That sorry,
it's
the
insane.
monologue.
It's powerful. I mean, and I think that was one of the last films that Conroy and Hamill did together.
That was and what
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's monologue that he did. Several actors have used that same monologue,
Yes.
and they've done it in Hollywood to get roles.
Uh,
So that's to speak that the comic books adaptation into video form is the exact written monologue that was
and
done.
Joe DiMaggio did that in Death in the Family, I think it
Hey,
was.
the family too when he was beat.
Or was it Bad Blood, or was it
No,
Death in the
no, it's
Family?
Death of the Family.
Okay, yeah, because he does that.
Mhm.
He does that, but I'm like, it's not the same because Mark Hamill freaking killed it, because Mark Hamill will always be the Joker. He's just, I mean, yes, he's Luke Skywalker, but I
Yeah,
mean,
and he
it's
is he
cool.
is
It's
he
cool
also
seeing him seeing him do Luke Skywalker. But like when you hear him as the Joker, it just rips in such a way that nothing can nothing can touch it. Let's be honest.
you really can't. So I like Dave's choice is actually Peter Weller being the voice of Batman, which is that's a big shout
This
out too. But
this is this is a two-part movie. I have this on digital myself. This, I mean, the original book is killer, and I love that they did the retro animation style. They kept it placed in the 80s.
hold on one second. Wait,
Uh,
hold on. One second. Rex? What hits different? And Gap, good to see you. So I'm curious, what hits different? Is it because you agree with us that 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 movie, The Killing Joke, really does hit differently reading it and here and like 'cause it's fantastic. The graphic novels is probably one of the
yeah.
best. I mean, hands. It's hard because you have Tower of Babel. Like I said, I can go down the list of all the graphic novels I've read. You know,
Yeah.
Like I'm still waiting for a DC. Oh yeah, Mark is the Joker. You're right. It's him.
Oh, definitely.
It's him. So I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead. You were
I mean,
explaining. I just wanted to understand what he
though
meant.
those who aren't familiar with this, Dark Knight Returns, this is old man Bruce. This is old man Bat.
So this is the
Bruce has
Frank Miller. This is
yeah,
the
Frank
Frank Miller
Miller.
universe. Batman.
Yes. It's very gritty, and this is not something that the kids should watch. First and foremost, that is your warning. Kids should not watch this because,
Yeah, they
like,
can watch this one. They can't watch Killing Joke. Killing Joke has sex in it. This
yeah,
doesn't.
well, this one, I mean, you have a character, you have a woman who is all ripped, and she's wearing like not swastika
Oh.
pasties. So I mean, some of the stuff is
Yeah,
a
that
little
was
bit
that
brutal.
one. Okay, I can agree with that. That was in
Okay,
part two, right? That was in the part two of it, not the part one.
but this is part one and two. So that was my pick. It wasn't just one or two. It
Oh,
was
you
the
did the
entire.
combined. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I went with the deluxe edition. So it was entitled. Um,
I
yeah,
think I've seen both
Bruce
of them.
Wayne's been retired for like 10 or 15 years now as he has been Batman all this time. He's got a mustache, and turns out that there's this gang called the Mutants that is kind of like taking over the city. They're rising, and part of his psyche is breaking through that he wakes up, he's been having these nightmares of bats about possibly being the Batman again. He wakes up and Alfred's like, "Sir, when did you shave?" And he didn't even realize he shaved his mustache off. He's slowly creeping back that he has to be Batman. And he comes back as Batman. He's an older man. I mean, really older. And he's taken on the mutants, and he even finds this young girl, this teenager, who just gets a Robin costume, very much like Miles bought the Spider-Man costume. Buys a costume, out of a costume shop. Who knows? Maybe that's where they got the inspiration from with Spider Verse.
Probably.
Who knows? But he comes back. He's an old man, but like, just everything is so smartly done. I mean, they have a lot of great DC animated voice talents in this move throughout the entire movie. Peter Weller, freaking RoboCop, Doctor, mind you, Doctor Peter Weller. He does have a doctorate, and he actually teaches in college. So, but he kills it as Batman. Just the voice, and it's he freaking just kills it. I mean, I'm trying to find the words, and I'm just like, everything he does in this movie is insane. There's he takes on the joke, he takes on the gang of the mutants. He loses, but then he challenges them again, and he outsmarts them. He crawls back into being the greatest detective ever, about outthinking your opponents, and he does it. He kills it. I mean, you get him taking the new Robin under his wing, and like the Batmobile is just this massive visceral tank with a bat head, and it's an indestructible. And one thing that's very different is he rocks guns in this. He uses a rifle a couple times. He does
Roll.
fire rubber bullets out of his Batmobile. Hey, KBG.
KBG.
But I mean, if you're a Batman fan, this is something you have to read or watch.
Both.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The second part, Dark Knight Returns 2, he actually has to take on Superman because mind you, this is set in the 80s, so you have a Ronald Reagan type president. Well, he is Ronald Reagan, let's be honest.
Aw.
And he orders Superman because apparently what happened was Bruce, Batman, all the heroes were forced into retirement. Otherwise, they would have been basically arrested and locked up. Oliver Queen lost his arm, and he's on the run.
He's still a vigilante, mind you.
Yeah. So all the heroes had to give up and hang up. But it's now that Bruce has come back as Batman, the government feels a certain kind of way about, like, he's making too much noise. There is a status quo, and they send Superman to tell him to back off and go back into retirement. He can't. It's Batman. It's all about the mission. And they actually go mano a mano, and it is a great it's a great sequence. It's a great fight, and of course, as always, Batman outthinks Superman. And I'm not going to tell you guys what specifically happens, but you have to read. You have to pick up the book, either pick up the written novel, the graphic novel, or check out the digital, or even you can still buy this, by the way, on physical media, like Dre's been
Yeah.
mentioning, or do all three and compare them. This is if you're a Batman fan, you have to watch this. It's required by state law, man. It is
It's
required.
pretty much it's by this channel's law, by this podcast law. You
I
need
am the law.
I'll put it to you this way, folks. If you like Frank Miller and his art style, and you like 300, if you like Sin City,
Yes.
you like,
This is
you know, it's
so up there.
gritty. It's got this. It's got an air to it that makes you want to like say, "Damn, this is the universe that the superheroes live in, and they have to thrive in." And it is a very different dystopian style universe. Is a good word to use for this. I
It's
like,
very 80s Reaganomics, and the fashion, the style. And yes, we do see the Joker also reemerges because Batman reemerges.
and that
And
they
the
always have
Joker
this
is
dichotomy. They've always said that there's a dichotomy between like you can't Batman can't live without the Joker, and the Joker can't live without Batman, which I thought was a
yin
very cool.
yin and yang,
You
two
know,
sides of a coin. It's because um a little bit of a spoiler. Joker is in an insane asylum, or
he's
not
an
like an
artist,
Arkham asylum, but like more of a psychiatric hospital. He's kind of comatose, and in the background you can hear a newscaster talking about the return of Batman, and you kind of see Joker kind of like slowly emerging from his coma,
and the smile,
from being catatonic, and he says, "Darling," and it's like, and that's like the end of part one, leading into part two. I'm
yeah,
like, it,
it's a
it
solid pick.
hits,
Like
it
like
hits.
I said, I can't. Like Dave said, with mine, these are picks that you really cannot argue because they're really good.
Yeah, I
Both were,
mean,
they
both of
evoke
these
a
are great.
sense of nostalgia. They evoke a very, very a great time of when comic books were really gritty and edgy and were pushing the envelope. What DC would call their black label brand now, these would have been black label books. Well, not really the
Yeah,
Superman. I think Reign of Superman was fine. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns would have definitely fallen under the black label for several reasons.
Killing Joke would have been the poster child for Black
Oh yeah,
Label.
Killing Joke is the poster child for why you don't why you have a black label line.
Yeah.
So
So,
let's
and
move on.
I want to acknowledge Blue, and we
Hey
know if
Blue,
if
we like
if
Shark.
Blue was in the DC universe, he'd be King Shark. Let's be honest.
Nanawe. All right, let's see pick number 2.
Yeah, you have a great stream tonight,
Oh yeah, folks,
KBG.
if
And
you
by the
like
way,
our stream, jump over to KBG's if you
go
want
directly
to
over there.
see Pokemon. He does some really fun streams. Obviously, we're in it on Fridays, Dave and I.
Yep.
But you guys can watch his Pokemon stream right now, and it's a great playthrough if you're playing Violet or Scarlet. And he's actually got a really solid team, so definitely check it out.
And anyone who's listening to this on podcast, look up Coldbane Games. That's KOULDBAYNEGAMES on YouTube. He does amazing game streams. He does a whole variety of games. He does, like we mentioned, Fortnite. He has done well, he's done he's done the recent Zelda games. He's done Hogwarts. He does a lot of survival games. So he does just about anything and everything. Check out his channel. Amazing content. It's a great fun time. There's joking, sometimes sometimes there's chaos and insanity, and
Yeah, but
I love that.
we all
So
love it.
please check him out, and he's a great friend of the channel. Also, he does Gundam builds
Mhm.
periodically as well in the Gundam hangar. So please check them out. Uh, I would be a cuddle shark. Yes.
Nanawe.
Okay.
But wow,
Flashpoint.
wow. Like so, if you ever wanted the comic book animated again, this movie does it. in spades. Probably gives us the greatest look into what seeing Thomas Wayne, obviously the father of Batman, who is the alternate reality Batman if Bruce had been shot that night. And then we find out that his wife becomes the Joker.
Yeah.
We end up seeing a world where Barry Allen, and this is what kind of is interesting because this movie plays into Apocalypse and plays into the Crisis movie series. This is a universe where Barry didn't want his mother to die. And
Yeah.
he ends up going back in time to a point where he saves her, but causes a disruption. And actually, the disruption was caused by the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. Thus, in causing this disruption, throws off everything that he knew. So people that were like, so basically the Amazons or the Amazonians on Themyscira and the Atlanteans go to war on Earth. Thomas Wayne, who is a doctor, which we all know he was a doctor before Batman, before he died, he was a doctor. Brilliant. He ends up becoming a sadistic doctor and works for the mob, which is run by the Penguin.
But in this one, he's running casinos. He's a casino magnate in this one.
And the Penguin is like the kingpin of Gotham, which I thought was kind of crazy. Cyborg is probably one of the more interesting characters because his story was kind of very plain Jane. Here, he actually works for the president, is the head of national security, and is tasked by the government to build a team of supers to defend against the Atlanteans and the Themysciran war. Because apparently Aquaman, to appease Aquaman and to not have war with the surface dwellers, Wonder Woman was forced by her mother to marry Aquaman. Mera didn't like that. And on the night that he was betting Wonder Woman to seal the deal, she cuts off Mera's head, takes her crown, and thus leads to war. And I think this film does that in spades, making you say, oh my damn.
And if you guys thought that was something, you might be saying, hey, wait a minute, you guys have mentioned Batman, you've mentioned Cyborg, where's Superman? Well, there isn't a Superman. He was basically, as a child, locked up, and he's never been exposed to our sun rays, so he never became, he was never found by the Kents.
He was called Project S.
Yes.
Because Argus, the company that we all know, is run by Amanda Waller. In this universe, Amanda Waller never ran it, but they captured him and placed him in like deep, dark objects and never let him out.
You've heard of black sites. This would be the darkest, the deepest of black sites, basically.
And Argus kept him a secret, except from obviously Thomas Wayne, because he's Batman, the greatest detective, and probably one of the coolest designed Batman, because you got to love when he gets the Flash and he's like, stop lying to me. And he starts breaking his fingers and he's like, I'm a doctor. I can do this all day. I'm like, holy crap. Like, you are sadistic.
And honestly, if they ever did this in live action, we all know who we want to play.
Negan.
Jeffrey friggin' Dean Morgan, who has played Bruce's father on screen.
Give me Negan. He would kill it. Kill it as Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, he would. And it's funny that, of course, he played. Was it? Which one was it? Was it Ben Affleck?
He played Ben Affleck. He played Affleck's father.
He and of course the mother, Martha,
was his enemy in Walking Dead.
Yep. And who also appeared in Supernatural as well as he did.
Yes.
Just not together.
So you realize people have asked Jeffrey Dean Morgan at conventions at several times to step into this role. And people have said that he is waiting for DC and Warner Brothers to basically
bring it,
green light it, and he wants it to happen.
Yeah. I mean, and could you imagine if they did Flashpoint, and you had Jensen play play the corrected universe Batman. I'm just saying it
I
would
don't
be
know if I
kind of
want
cool.
to play the correct like to be Batman, like actually be Tom. I think he would do a great Bruce Wayne. I don't know. I'd want
Well,
him.
no, that's what I'm saying. The corrected timeline, because
Are we
obviously
talking
Jeffrey Dean
we're
Morgan would
talking
be the
Damian,
Flashpoint.
and we're talking with a Damian or with a Dick Grayson, like a teen Dick Grayson as Robin.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I would like to see him in the Batman role, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan was his father in Supernatural.
And that would be kind of an
It would,
interesting little
it would be
take.
kind of cool. But I mean, this movie is. I mean, forget. Now I
Thank you,
love to
RB.
see.
You have a good night.
I love the CW Flash, and their Flashpoint did not do this justice. First and foremost,
The Supergirl meets the Batman movie did not do this any justice at all. It barely. It took this idea and went like this.
you know what you know what it did? It's like shoving up a crayon up somebody's nose to make them dumber, a la Simpsons. That's what the uh, Batman meets Supergirl movie did did to Flashpoint. To me, there's never been a true live action Flashpoint. And I'm probably going to get some shade from the Flash fans. I
Go
love
on,
I
me.
love the Flash series. I just thought that they kind of it didn't go as big as they could have. But this movie, I mean, it shows you how one little change can ripple across, and I mean, the world is basically on the verge of ending. And also, by the way, if you're not familiar with Flashpoint, when Barry does this, when he goes back in time and he changes everything, like his mother's alive, he doesn't have his powers. So he goes to Wayne Manor. He's trying to find Bruce. He finds Thomas, obviously, and he has to convince him. But once he does convince him, poor Barry has to go to try and recreate the accident that gave him his powers. He fails once. He has to try again. And he's badly burned. I mean, he's on the verge of dying, and no, he's like, no, we have to do this. And I mean, it's the whole movie is great. Like, Lois Lane is embedded with some freedom fighters with
Grifter. They
Grifter.
brought Grifter from Wildcats.
Yep,
Like, how did they not like?
they did some deep dives here.
Here's what kills me. It's like Image Comic Books was bought out by DC Comics because Jim Lee, obviously, he started that independent company years ago. He then becomes the head of DC. He's the CEO of DC Comics, and they bring in Grifter, and I'm like, oh my god, Grifter's in this movie, and he was in here for like
Yeah,
3 seconds, and he gets killed. I was like, why? He's got a healing factor like Wolverine.
yeah. And I mean,
They
it's
die.
it's insane. I mean, the whole thing is great. And what's even better is towards the end, there's a little something that Barry brings, because Barry, obviously, he has to try and correct the timeline to get back to his world. And
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
first time we saw Batman cry.
yeah,
Ever in the even in the comics, because now folks, for you that are for the non-comic initiated, um there have been several branches that have been created in the comic books currently based off of Flashpoint Paradox, which was the Flashpoint, which we had the Doomsday Clock, which is tied to Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen. That we had another Flashpoint Paradox within the Doomsday Clock because it took place after Doomsday Clock. So there have been several iterations of this story that's been told. So for any true comic book fan, it's definitely worth the read. It's definitely worth the watch as a comic book fan. It is
and
solid.
Conroy voices, Barry's
He
Bruce.
prime Batman. So prime Batman he voices just so we
Yeah,
can.
and I love how he says, "You're a hell of a messenger."
So I guess
Just
let's move on to our honorable mentions because I don't know if we're gonna. Wow,
oh,
I was just talking about how bad this movie was, and you actually put it in here.
I told you I would throw you for a loop.
Damn, folks. So,
So you go first with your pick.
oh my god, I want to shit all over that one. I'm so mad. I hate that movie. It was so bad. Oh God.
Well, I'll give you my reasons, and we'll see.
The comic was not bad. At least the comic book wasn't bad, but God, that movie. Oh,
I'm waiting for part 2 of this.
it came out already.
Did it?
Yeah, I have it. I'll put it on the drive for you. Um, obviously, Son of Batman. For those of you that don't know, probably one of the best modern stories of Batman has been the Court of Owls. And the Court of Owls is they tried to do it in the remake of that series that we had on the Batman series that was not really a Batman series. I forgot the name of it. Crap. The one Dave, what was that series that just got canceled on the CW?
Oh, Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. So
But they
Gotham
also
Yeah.
visited that on Gotham.
Exactly, and this is the Court of Owls has been something that they've mentioned in even in Batwoman they mentioned it season 2, the Court of Owls. So this movie probably, I had that for dinner yesterday. Ricardo, tacos are awesome. So Son of Batman is our first viewing of Damian Wayne. Now, does this have any relation to the Court of Owls? No. They put the Court of Owls storyline and added Damian Wayne into this so we can get Damian Wayne into the animated universe. And it was awesome. It was everything I would expect from you giving me a kid raised by Talia al Ghul, who's the the biological son of Bruce Wayne and Talia, whose grandfather is the demon's head, Ra's al Ghul, and he trained you in how to be an assassin.
I'm sorry. I'm always going to say Raish. I'm sorry. I'm just always going to say Raish Al Ghul.
That's fine. I'm gonna call him the Demon's Head because I think that's a kick-ass name to be a title to earn. The Demon's Head, and I love that because we got that from Arrow when they called him that in Arrow, the Demon.
Yes.
So this whole series actually talks about the Court of Owls and how they're kind of like the Illuminati of Gotham, that they control the various ins and outs, the affluent, and Talon is their assassin, like their lead assassin. And when they find out about now, Damian has already been living with Bruce for about a year at this point in the animated universe. But Damian still likes to kind of be a wild child. He doesn't feel like he's like, I'm Damian. I can do what I want because I'm your kid and I'm better than you.
And the
And
voice actor who plays Damien in these
he's
movies
amazing.
does a great job.
He's amazing. He's actually been the voice actor since the iteration of Damian, and he followed it into into the Teen Titans, the 3 Teen Titans films that Damian was in, where he actually joins the team, which I thought was really dope. And that's again, we have more lists that we can add to these things. But Son of Batman by far, Bruce Greenwood being the voice of Batman again, and Damian killing it as always. Again, love this movie. Cannot speak anything but just high reviews of it. Why I didn't make the cut to the main list was it's so hard when you have there's 30 animated movies, and when I have to look at 5 or maybe 6, my scope had to go really narrow. And trust me, Dave brought it up before we were backstage that this is not the last time you'll see this list come up because we probably will do a part 2 to this list. So just wanted to set that before I let Dave talk about this absolutely trash-tastic comic book / movie mashup. Because let me tell you, I have no problem with an art style. I have no problem with the Ruby universe. But why did you muddle in my motherfucking superheroes? Oh God, it makes me mad.
Okay, first off, I actually really enjoyed this.
I know you did. It's Renfeld. This is the Renfeld for me, folks. This is Renfeld. I hated the movie. I watched it and it was like Batman looking pretty.
I mean,
in anime form.
long story short,
Nope.
imagine if you took the Justice League out of their normal universe and drop them in a universe that is bound by the rules of anime, where like people could have wings and have magical powers, and science is completely different. And also, at first, each of the Justice Leaguers forget who they are, and they're actually teenagers. I mean, Bruce, Batman, he winds up in this world where he actually has bat wings.
Don't even know. See? Do you hear this,
And
folks? He's an anime Batman that walked around with bat wings like he was cute. Like if you put him in Genshin Impact. No.
and I like how you have a team of heroes in the Ruby world, and they kind of reluctantly partner up with our Justice Leaguers, including Superman, who Superman doesn't really have his full strength. And we find out that, and we also find out this is kind of a matrix simulation, that the two teams were from the different worlds were thrusted together in one universe, where they have to take on I'm trying to remember what the enemies were called. Blanking on it. Well, they're like kind of like demon like, and they have to take them out.
And you know what's
But
sad, folks? I bought this film on Blu-ray because I was like, oh wow, this should be good. I liked Ruby. I liked Justice League. And then I watched it and I almost wanted to snap the Blu-ray in half.
well, I enjoyed it because one, okay, from the perspective of Batman, he never had a childhood, let alone a young adulthood. And at one point, he's even contemplating staying in that universe, that he could have something that he never had. So I mean, that in itself was something from a narrative I really enjoyed. And I mean, it's a fun movie to me. And Dre just hates me right now.
I don't hate you. This movie was so the antithesis of like, it was the bad mashup. This is when you try to get two groupings of fans that don't like each other to make a film, and then you're gonna kind of shit all over the fans that are like of one. Both the fans, like there were probably Ruby fans that were like, "What the hell," and then there were probably Justice League fans like me that were like, "Definitely, what the hell." And then you have a group that's like, "Oh, we love this. It can't be bad." Oh, it already happened. This happened, Mega Demon. It's been in the comics. It's done 2 volumes in the comics, 2 miniseries, and they somehow thought it was a good idea to animate this. Don't give me Aztec Batman. Don't give me Darkest Night. Freaking, Batman Who Laughs, Joker. Don't give me the freaking, don't give me Dark Knight's Metal animated. Give me this crap.
What about Nightfall?
Sorry.
What about Nightfall, Dre?
Nightfall doesn't. Nightfall. I would take Nightfall over this. I would take Nightfall.
I mean, I enjoyed this. I thought it was a different concept. And me, I'm that person that likes alternate dimensions, that likes different timelines, different what ifs. So I actually gravitate towards something like this.
All right. So Ricardo, you know how Marvel has introduced recently into our basic understanding of the Marvel universe that there's a multiverse, right? It's not really timelines. It's what they call it the multiverse. So DC has always had this. It's been that there's our Earth, and then there's Earths parallel to ours that mimic what our Earth looks like, but the heroes are different, villains are different, and that's always kind of been the. No, I'm a comic book guy, so that's why I can explain it. What really DC was trying to do in the early 2000s, or I say and I guess it would be early. It was in 2008. DC opted to try to do something to bring fans in, which was called the New 52, which was after the Final Crisis, which was which is basically DC's kind of Etch-a-Sketch universe, where they're like, hey, things don't really work well in this universe. We're going to erase everything that happened and start brand new. And the New 52 was their first attempt at doing a comic line at like literally for 52 weeks a year, for the whole year, every week a new DC comic book came out. And it was telling you the story of what had happened to the heroes post that crisis. So everything we have seen now is part of this multiverse.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I looked at 52 as a failure personally. That's just my personal perspective. But like as far as like explaining I always explain the multiverse this way. Every time there is a decision, whatever, whatever choice you make, the other choice exists also in its own dimension, its own parallel. It's like taking a rope and taking the strands apart. And each strand is its own separate universe and line. But I mean, like, bottom line, I enjoyed it. It's different. It's definitely hokey. And I know one of the reasons why I picked this was one, it was very different, but also this is something that I know is not everyone's cup of tea.
And I love anime. That's you figured it would have been
Now,
my
originally,
jam.
I picked this. I'm like, you know what? I bet Dre's going to be surprised, and he might actually be a little bit proud of me. But
Oh, I'm
you were
proud of him.
surprised.
No,
You
I'm
just
proud that he likes anime. Would I rather him like My Hero Academia, Bleach, Naruto? I can go down the list of better anime. This, ah, bad
so
choice. But I love him. I
the,
still love
our number
him.
one pick,
Now, number one,
ladies and
as I
gentlemen.
said, folks, I guarantee you, if Dave did not pick the same one as me, I'm gonna literally fall out of this chair on the floor. I will be
You
shocked.
everyone get ready to watch him fall out of his chair.
Bullshit. You really didn't pick the same movie I did? Wow. I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Degeneration X proudly presents.
Wow. Wow. You really did not put this one first. Holy shit. Folks, I am floored. Floored. Wow. I knew this was I was wondering why this didn't make the cut. I didn't think this wouldn't make the number one because it wasn't number one for me. I mean, it definitely was in the top 10. But wow, Mask, you think that movie is better than Mask of the Phantasm? The
Okay,
first movie's got
again,
blood
again,
and
again.
cursing?
Our criteria were movies that we thoroughly enjoyed, what we would consider best picks.
That's true.
Now,
No, you're right.
I'm not saying that Batman Mask of the Phantasm is not a great movie. I've even sat in on a watch party for this movie before with Dudes Nerdery and a whole bunch of others. But one movie I can sit and watch over and over and over for hours still. I love Batman Beyond
I
and
just
Batman
watched
Beyond
it
Return of the
too.
Joker. And by the way, I finally watched the original version of Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But Dre, why did you choose Mask of the
I
Phantasm?
mean, Mask of the Phantasm for me was one of those. It is by far quintessentially the best animated DC movie ever
Uh,
made.
Quick
I
question for you.
go ahead.
Did you watch this in the theaters or not?
I did. I went. I was old enough to
So
go to
was I.
movies by myself.
Yep.
Like my mom, I think my mom dropped me off at the theater to go see this, and
So
it was my first. I remember going because I mean most of the animated movies I went and saw Transformers, GI Joe. I was a kid, a little kid. This was me being old enough to really appreciate what I was watching from several levels. Several levels. I mean, it was an original villain existing in this animated universe, and she just I don't want to say she, which it gives it away if you haven't watched the film, but you know the phantasm, the actual villain, is such a great character.
and
Like
we
you
know
know,
that
you're
the
in for
Phantasm
a
actually
great.
crosses over to Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I know that much. That much I know. But
Well, no,
for
I'm saying
this,
it for the audience, Dre.
oh, but for this, it was like they curse in this movie. They have blood in this movie. It's like we never got that in an animated film. G.I. Joe was the first time I've ever seen blood, and that was when Duke caught the spear to the heart from Serpentor. Here, Batman gets stabbed by a building by the Joker when he's chasing Mark Hamill through the Joker factory, and you know you're getting like Mark Hamill even drops like it's not a big bomb, it's like hell or damn, but like you gotta remember
That was
that
not
was big in the
yet back
early
in the
90s.
90s.
You didn't have a lot of cursing in animated films. Like the oh shit comment by Jazz in Transformers was edited out. By the time you got to the Blu-ray, it was in the Blu-ray anniversary edition.
Or like even on TV, like adult TV, like NYPD Blue. If you heard someone use the word ass, that was like a big deal.
Yeah, and then you have George Carlin come up with his 7 words that they were banned from television, which I'm not going to repeat any of those because we'd get banned for saying them. But I love that Dave got the reference, and I think Mask of the Phantasm for me was one of those that I wanted a Phantasm figure. They gave us a Phantasm figure. You know, the character was great. Bruce was vulnerable. I
Yeah,
mean, it was you were playing
he
off
was
the
he was
popularity.
contemplating. Yeah, Bruce contemplates hanging up the cowl for good.
Exactly. And when you see the fact that they were capitalizing on the popularity of Batman the Animated Series, and because it was the only animated series that beat The Simpsons in getting an Emmy. So that says a lot, folks.
Not just an Emmy, I think it even got as there might have been 1 or 2 episodes that might have even got a Peabody.
That the two episodes, the one of the episodes was that the oh crap, what was it? The Robin one, where he went after Zuko,
Yeah,
where Batman, and that was a two-parter. That was one, and the other episode I forgot. I think it was like the very first episode of the show because it was like of the way it did like the way it was animated. It won like an award for that too.
yeah.
But I
I
do
mean,
remember that episode with Tony Zuko.
I mean, Batman and Batman the animated series, they had the best animation style back then because they introduced that noir kind of artistic style, and it
And we're
just
not
it
talking about the Adventures of Batman and Robin because that
no
was the sequel
no
series, and
no.
that
I
was meant to
said
be lighthearted.
no, and like I said Batman the animated series. It
Because
was just it was. I mean, yeah, Massive Phantasm is a great film. It hits on so many levels. The art style, the voice acting, it to me, I think Batman the Animated Series had some of the best voice acting ever.
oh, it did. You had people that were so well known, and sadly,
Yeah.
many of them have passed on. We just lost Harley
Mhm.
Quinn last year.
Yep.
We lost Kevin
Arlene
Conroy the
Sorkin.
year, and we lost Kevin Conroy the year before that. You know,
Armin Shimmerman voiced a lot of characters on there.
yes, he did, and he's from
We
Star Trek.
lost him a few years back. Yeah, he was Odo on Star Trek, and he was on the old Benson TV show way
Yes, he
back when
was.
with Robert Guillaume. I mean, they had so many great actors in there that I mean, we could see here talking about all the actors from there, but I mean, yeah, this is definitely an amazing film that hits on so many
I'm not,
levels.
I'm not shitting on Dave. I I absolutely love Batman: Return of the Joker because it is one of those that really plays into your deep fan knowledge of the show, as well as like
Uh huh.
everybody wanted a Batman animated figure. Like we've always wanted a Beyond a Terry figure, and we got it. You know, and it's like uh,
Yep.
it's hands down like it's a great movie. Like Mark Hamill, you couldn't get the old man to laugh if you gave him a kick in the cowl. You know, like
Yep.
there was great one-liners and Friedel does a great. I mean, I could talk positive about both of them. I
I
was
mean,
just
yeah. When Himmel says, well, if it's a fight, you know, yeah, if it's a woman you want to fight, you know, he does all these one-liners. And he's like, you're not Batman, and but Batman Return the Joker, I the on Max they have the real version. Well, now, kids, when I say the real version, there's a scene when you find out what happened to the Joker back during the prime days of Batman. That Bruce even tells Terry McGinnis he can't be the real because he takes on the Joker King and he finds out that behind them is the Joker. Bruce says that that's not possible because he's dead.
I'll get her in a second.
That the Joker actually died. And later on, Terry finds out how he died. Yes, that is a great figure. My only gripe on that figure was the wings.
The wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they were cloth. Like, I wish they were actually cloth. That's the only gripe I have about this figure.
Or even if they just gave you like kind of like the Spider-Man webbing kind of thing where it just attaches
Agreed.
and detach,
That might be a
that would be
project
great.
to do with this figure. Because
Same.
I kept a few Batman McFarlane figures I liked, and he was one of them.
But Terry later on finds out what happened and how Joker dies. Now, there was an edited version where the Joker dies by accident. Like he slips on some stuff, he pulls a lever, and he's
Also
electrocuted. The real version is what happened was Batman and Batgirl were after the Joker in an intense, vengeful way because they kidnapped Tim Drake, Robin. And when they find Tim Drake with Joker and Harley, he now has he's got like bleached skin. He's been Jokerized and brainwashed to be little JJ, not to be affiliated with JJ on YouTube. But they find him and he's brainwashed, like he's ready to kill. Robin, Tim Drake is ready to kill. At one point, Barbara is trying to get through to him, and she slowly does, and he actually fires this dart and actually kills the Joker. Now they thought that the producers and everyone afterwards, they thought that, wait a minute, this is a little bit too violent. Let's edit it and make it so that the Joker accidentally kills himself and he's electrocuted. But I finally watched the original version, which they do have on Max, so go ahead and check that out. But the Joker, before he dies, he finds out he tortured Tim for weeks and found out everything, including Bruce's identity and all that greatness in there. And this new Joker that is in the future battling Terry and sending the Jokers after him, this Joker also knows that Bruce is Batman, and they even attack Wayne Manor. Bruce is he's badly injured and poisoned, and even Ace is beat up pretty badly. Ace the dog is beat up pretty badly. Tim Drake is voiced by Dean Stockwell, so I mean that's one of my favorites right there from the Quantum Leap and so many others. I mean, it's one of those things that if you watch Batman Beyond, you never really heard Bruce talk about the Joker. We never really get much of the Joker. We just know about the Joker gang. And this one to me, it hits on a lot of levels because now, for the first time ever, Terry is on his own because Bruce is incapacitated.
So is Ace.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that Ace was even beat up pretty badly. And, this is one of those times when, he's all by himself. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And he even says, he looks at Ace, he says, you know what? If I was the real Batman, I would know exactly how to type the clues in and find out what exactly the bad guys are all behind. And that's when Bruce chimes in. He says, it's never that easy. It's kind of like, Bruce is actually being a little bit kind of sympathetic and reassuring to Terry. But when we see Terry take on the Joker, he says, boss, any ideas? And Bruce chimes in through the comms and says, he likes to talk, just power, just power through. He's like, wait a minute, I like to talk too. And then he starts talking and trying to distract the Joker, and he gets the upper hand. I mean, it's me. I love Batman Beyond on a level that is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Batman the animated series, Detective Comics, but me, when they did Batman Beyond, I gravitated that so hard. And to me, Batman Beyond, I had this on VHS. I used to watch it all the time, and I still watch it now. And it's just one of my favorites. I mean, I had to pick this. I had to pick this on so many levels.
It's a good one. I can't fault you for it. I think I was just surprised, but I think it's a damn good pick. I mean, folks, you want to see animation that is timeless. This harkens back to like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck.
It's
You
funny
know,
you say Bugs Bunny because there's the one scene when Ace is,
yep.
all beat up, and
He's
they
watching
actually show him watching old
Toons
Bugs
cartoon.
Bunny cartoons.
That's why I made the comment. See, big brain
So
thinking. I mean, 100%. I absolutely love both these films.
it's got
Um,
both have great soundtracks, both
oh yeah,
amazing
the
instrumental scores.
heavy metal rock that you get from Batman Beyond with the more orchestral John Williams style, like
Yeah,
dun 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 dun. Like you get that in this, and I mean, he's won the choreographers and the composers won so many awards for this series. I mean, did now people you could probably say, oh well, you left out Batman Sub Zero with Mister Freeze, and you left out so many others, folks. We didn't leave them out. There are 30 plus films,
yes.
30 plus, and I kid you not, I own at least 25 of them on Blu-ray. It is
Now,
not easy to sit and decide what we had to make as a list, but I do like what Dave said. This is just list one. So
yes,
we will do a secondary list, and that secondary list that we will do will be more fine-tuned because now you saw this is like what we feel are the I can rewatch these anytime. The next list you might see Throne of Atlantis, Justice League War. You might see Teen
Apocalypse.
Titans because the Teen Titans. Now I'm not
Judas
talking Teen
Contracts.
Titans. I'm not talking Teen Titans, Puffy Amiyumi. Like
No, not Teen Titans Go, but we're talking
even though
about
they did do a crossover with their non
yes.
goofy and that movie was actually hilarious. By the way, great kids movie to watch with your kids. Even though there's tons of adult jokes in it, my daughter completely over Rory's head. But like, it's a great film. But don't forget, there's Green Lantern, Emerald Knights.
There's actually a couple. There's a
Beware My
Green
Power,
Lantern First Flights.
and then was it Beware My Power, which is the recent
Yeah,
one with Jon Stewart.
that's a good
There's the
one.
one with Jessica Cruz, which is a very good film.
Yep.
Don't forget we have Superman. We have the Superman Batman team up. Superman,
Public Enemies.
you know,
That was a good one because I
Public
loved
Enemy
it.
is awesome.
No, I love the scene when it's like Superman's like, "You just killed my best friend," and
Mind
he lays into Luthor so badly. But I mean,
mind
yeah,
you,
there's a lot of good ones. Some of them are a little cheesy in some parts. Um, I mean, but harken back to Batman Beyond. You got the voices of Melissa Joan Hart,
yep, she did the Harley
Michael Rosenbaum, who is DC animated royalty because he goes all the way back to Justice League.
as the voice of the Flash.
Yep. I mean,
And I met
there's
him. He's actually really good people, folks. He
yeah,
is.
I'm hoping to meet him someday because he's I listened to his podcast. In fact, I was watching it today on YouTube. Him and Tom Welling do rewatches of Smallville.
Yeah, Tom. I've met Tom Welling. I've met Michael Rosenbaum. They've actually come up to me at Dragon Con. Like I said, I'll never forget it. Having Tom Welling put his arm
You
around
hear
me,
that? He
having a
didn't go up to them. They came up to Dre. See that's how connected Dre is. See,
do you understand? Like it's a personal thing that when I told my wife the story because this is a year before I met my wife, so I was at Dragon Con and I met these guys, and I'm just literally I remember we were waiting in line to get for Tara Strong, who is the video game voice of Harley Quinn.
oh look, it's the better half of Reptiles, Rebels, and Games. We got Blue Eyes in the
Hey,
house.
cool. And I remember waiting in line, and I feel this arm come around my shoulders. I just turned my head to the right, Michael Rosenbaum. Then I feel another arm come around the other side. Turn my head to the left. It's Tom Welling. And they're just standing there, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" And I'm like, my roommate is staring, mouth agape.
I would be like,
What? How
I
did
would have
Dre
been what in
land
the
that?
what?
Like, how did Dre land that? And I'm just sitting there like, can I get a picture? We got a picture together. We started talking. I mean, it was such an amazing experience that like I'm floored that I got to meet them and even I got to talk to them for like 5 minutes.
I would have been what in Smallville is going on here?
I wish I could have made that joke. And then a year later I meet my wife who's named Lana after Lana Lang. So it was like, and my
So
wife was a huge Smallville fan. So it was like the perfect like timing in my life to set me up.
so
Like, I was gonna meet that. So
eh, I mean, Rosenbaum is great. Welling does a lot of producing stuff. He is a good actor. I mean, what he did with Clark Kent in Smallville.
and
But I
the
mean,
Blur.
but both of them, well, no, I mean the acting part. I
Oh
mean
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the portrayal. I mean, both of them worked with legends. Like, I mean, Rosenbaum learned from John Glover,
Of course, John Glover's a
who
freaking. He's an
he
icon in of himself.
and who also voiced animated on Batman the Animated Series. He was the voice of Riddler. So I mean, there's so many out there that I mean, it's just beyond. But I mean, uh, I would have lost it. I would have been like, I mean, come on, Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, and honestly, the best TV Lex Luthor has been Rosenbaum.
Oh yeah.
Animated though, it's Clancy Brown. Let's be honest. Best animated Lex Luthor is always going to be Clancy Brown. Best TV one is always going to be Rosenbaum, not John Shea from Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman from the 90s. Best cinematic Lex Luthor. I mean, who would you pick? I'd have to go with Hackman.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I mean, we're going to be doing a lot more lists. Obviously, these movies will not be a part of any future lists.
So yes, note that. Please note that when Dave and I don't ask us, well, why did you guys when we do our part 2 list? The part 1 list is now void. All these 6 movies we have chosen are void from that list.
Yeah, it's kind of
So
like when, back in the day when you were, picking teams to play football or basketball, whoever's picked, you can't pick that person again.
yeah, exactly. Unless they
It's
had a
one and
twin.
done.
They had a twin, and that's weird. And it happened a few times in my life where we had that. But yeah, obviously, I will. I want to let you guys know this part of the series. The next wave of these of this series that we're doing is going to be 80s films. So we have 80s films, and 80s films are not specific. But Dave brought up a good point. I wanted to kind of whet your palates with a general,
Hmm.
and then Dave and I are then gonna go deeper dive, and we're gonna go make our own individual lists
Yeah.
on a topic,
I
like
mean,
best martial
we
art.
could spend a couple of years going over 80s films, let's be honest.
Mhm.
Literally a couple years we could spend doing 80s films. Same with 90s. So we're going to pick movies that we thoroughly enjoy. Are they the top 5 of all time of that decade? No, but they're going to be movies that hit us personally, that are
And what
faves
ones that
and
we
that
rewatch,
that
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 when it
make you,
pops on, you just leave it on the TV because you're like,
yeah,
man, it's at that point. I know what that part is.
or maybe a movie that you relate to on some level. Maybe it was a memory of, something you watch with your dad, or something you just, like you felt like you were that character or you wanted to be that character.
Indiana
It's
Jones.
it's gonna be
Dave,
nostalgia.
if he's taking a shot, I'm gonna say it. Indiana Jones. I got my degree. I have 2 degrees in history because
Dre,
I wanted to be Indiana Jones.
Dre, you're gonna hate me next week. That's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna hate me next week.
I know you saw. See, the difference is you have the advanced knowledge of knowing what my picks were. I don't know your picks, so that's what's kind of funny is that when we go into this challenge each week, Dave is gonna know my picks because I sent him already the first. So for the next 4 weeks, y'all are laughing because I know what my picks are. I have no clue what Dave's picks are, and I've made him not tell me because I don't want to know.
Yep. Like this week, you didn't like the Justice League and Ruby, so
Oh, we're not gonna talk about that. I almost feel like sending you that Blu-ray now so you can keep it. Just like get it out of my house. That's how much I'm willing to take the $22 loss and just send
he's
it to
like, this house is safe now.
Dave. It's cleansed. It's cleansed.
But yeah, next week is gonna be the 80s. Now, programming notes. The next week's episode may be pre-recorded, potentially speaking, because of job and scheduling things with me are still, we won't know for a few more days. So be on the lookout. Outer Dimension might be in another day or time, or we may just do pre-recorded and air it on Wednesday. But Stay
And I
tuned.
can
We don't
comment
even
in
know
chat.
yet.
So, and what Dave and I, and I know Dave and I discussed this before because um, my schedule is not going to be completely, my schedule is completely unflexible, obviously with work.
Yes.
I can't, if I can't change my shift now. And if I did put a shift bid in, I have to wait 10 more weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm not changing my shift. I like my shift.
One thing we could always do, we can always record it earlier that day and then air it later. That's always a possibility. Or we record it on another day and we still air it on Wednesdays and Drake can interact with the chat. We're going to know some more information within the next couple days.
And we'll post it to the social so you guys are not going to be blindsided by it. It's something that, life happens, and and I'm happy for my brother because it's what he needs, and it's like when Dave says it for me when things pop up in my life with the kids or with my wife, my wife's taking a class again and she even made a comment about it, and she says, oh, Wednesdays are going to be, I have a class on Wednesdays. So in a way, maybe we Wednesdays may not work and we'll figure out a new day. We'll see. But for now, if it's pre-recorded, that's fine. We still have shows that we're doing. And I know Dave and I did talk about this backstage. If you are wrestling fans or want to be a part of something, Saturday let me look at the dates. Saturday the 27th. Is it the 27th?
Yeah, that one is going to be subject to not
It's gonna
knowing.
see if Dave's available. If he's not, then we're not doing it. But we will post it on social media and let you guys know if that's gonna happen. Because Dave and I would like to. We've always kind of wanted to do another watch party, and if we're able to, awesome. If we're not, then it's not in the cards.
Yeah.
And we got Mania, so and we can always figure that out in advance. But
Because full disclosure for anyone, I have been doing a lot of applications, a lot of interviews with companies. As it stands right now, I may be returning to Spectrum, but I will be working night shifts, basically like two in the afternoon until 11 at night. So I won't be available for things, and that will be pretty much a Tuesday through Saturday deal, which means my Sundays and Mondays open up. But if I happen to I'm actually waiting to hear back from a couple of businesses I interviewed this week. Those are Monday through Fridays, which would then restore the weekends and the nights. So we'll see what happens with that, guys. Life doesn't stop.
most definitely.
Neither does Dre's judging on me because I like Ruby. Coming from a guy who's wearing a Marvel t-shirt.
Hey, I rep what I love. If I was gonna wear my Spider Punk shirt today, but I decided not to.
Hey, I'm wearing a Back to the Future shirt underneath this, so hey, what can I say?
But yeah, folks, tune in next week. 80s movies. Bring your lists with you. I want to see the comp. You guys did such a great job in the chat. You guys blow up the chat.
And please message us with your 80s picks ahead of time.
Exactly, because I definitely know that my picks are interesting. And I know Dave already knows mine. So
you're gonna like look at me. You're some of my picks. You're gonna be like, okay, that's pretty obvious, and others you're gonna be like, wait, you did what?
And also, folks, just so you know, like today was a rarity. I'm not going to be doing 3 lives in a day. I do 2. You guys know I do the earlier stream, and then I do this one here. And like Dave said, we will see what's going to happen because it might just be my live, and then a video. You'll see 2 videos. The one video I dropped for comic chats that will be later in the evening. That'll be about 10ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't want to overlap our show with that. So you'll see 2 different. If you watch one, you'll be able to watch the other. At your leisure. So just to give you guys kind of that heads up and knowledge.
Creativity, 80s movies. Yeah, see, I love the 80s movies.
We're children of the 80s, baby.
Come on now. We can go into deep dives. Like, there's like we could do like Vengeance movies one week. I mean, there's so much we can do with 80s movies. And come on, the 80s had some of the cheesiest
You can
and
cover
also
every
some of the
genre.
best.
You can cover every genre. Every genre can be covered with the 80s, just the 80s.
I mean, we could pick 80s movies that made you cry as a child.
Never ending story.
Transformers.
G.I. Joe. People cried when I was in the theater. I remember little kids were like, "Ah!" when Duke got that spear to the chest. Never forget that.
I mean, Optimus Prime, and shameless plug for Nerd Affiliated, just did a review on the. I know
Super
Dre's
7,
not a
right?
fan of Super 7, but he did the Super 7 Optimus Prime Fallen, which is the all grayed out, shattered, broken up Optimus before
When
he
the
died. Right when he
Matrix
dies.
came out of his chest and his heartbeat.
Yep.
Goes, boop,
I mean,
boop.
check out Nerd Affiliated, Hey Archer, and Nerd Affiliated on YouTube and Instagram everywhere. Him, Ramblin' Nerd, Anthony, and Sal, they do some great reviews. They do a weekly show on Thursday night, so please check them out at around 8:15-ish
Yeah,
Eastern, 8:15-ish Eastern on Nerd Affiliated channel. And of course, Nerdy Coffee almost every Monday morning at, I believe, 9 a.m.
yeah, he does it 9-ish.
9ish, yeah. So please check them out. Nerdy Coffee Monday mornings. He does the latest, greatest in entertainment in nerd news. Thursday nights are pretty much about the same, but he also does a lot of unboxes as of late. So please check both shows out on Nerd Affiliated on YouTube. But Dre, do you have anything coming up this week?
No, I think this week we are going to. I had my computer poop the bed, so the old laptop finally pooped the bed. So I'm going to have to be. It's kind of, I guess, pushing me to do some newer reviews. So I have
Did
some
it go
reviews to
poop?
work on. What happened?
It went poop.
No, it went poop. It went. You know,
Poop.
it's sad. It was a great computer.
It's sad.
But I'm going to be doing some newer reviews. I have a ton of SH Figure Arts that I have yet to review that people want to see reviewed, and they're newer reviews. So I just have to get my tripod, which we don't have any idea where it is. I'm looking for it.
That's not a metaphor for anything, is it?
No, literal
Okay.
tripod. Like my
Okay.
friend Eric gave me this awesome, beautiful, like aluminum steel, like hybrid tripod, and it's
Mhm.
great because I used to be able to like arc it down so I could aim the camera perfectly at the table, and it'd be over my shoulder so I could actually have both my hands free.
Yeah, see, I want to find a tripod that has like that ease of movement where you can glide,
It
the
has
arm
that. I just
movements.
don't know where it is.
See, I bought a cheap one last year and it doesn't have that butter type movement. That's what I want, is that
Oh,
butter
this one, dude,
smooth.
this is, and it was a gift. That's why I have to like find it. So I think it might be in. We might have put it in Rory's closet. I just have to get
Okay.
in there and find it. If it's not, it's in our bedroom, and if it's not, then it's lost to time. So I will definitely be doing
Fluid
some.
head tripod creativity says.
Okay, but I'm
There we go.
right now I'm looking very forward to doing some reviews on some of the newer toys I've gotten. I know a lot of people want me to. They've been asking, like, Dre, I love your older reviews, but I want to see some of your newer stuff because the collection has had a complete refocus. So they want to see those reviews based on not the older stuff. So I will be working on that this Saturday, and I will hope to have an episode up on Monday
Mhm.
of the newer stuff. If I can get at least one review up. But the goal is to try to get at least 4 reviews done on Saturday, and have at least 2 edited, ready to go for month for the coming weeks. And obviously, you guys know comic chats on Wednesdays, and then what we do on the Outer Dim. So yeah, that's what I got.
And of course, you guys, speaking of Outer Dim is our Twitter handle, the Outer Dim Pod on the Twitter, or also known as the ex-wife. The Outer Dim podcast, the Outer Dimensions podcast on Instagram. And of course, you can always email us at the Outer Dimensions podcast at gmail.com. And this week, actually, I've been kind of slowing down on videos because I've been focusing on the job situation. However, this week, in fact, tomorrow, I will be dropping a nice little video because Project Grid is back online. the computer build is going to be moving forward. One of the very first things that you want to do when building a new computer, well, you want to transfer and back up your data. That's what this is. And you're going to check out that video tomorrow. This is basically a device that lets you take a hard drive, plug it in, and now you plug that into your computer and you can drag everything over onto a larger hard drive. It's great for content creators. If you're going traveling, you need to transfer data from one computer to another for IT professionals. And this is budget. This is budget. This costs maybe around $22 on Amazon right now. Check out the video tomorrow. I go into an explanation on it. I mean, if you're someone that's building a computer, get yourself a larger hard drive. I have 5 different hard drives on my current computer. Put it all on one, and this is also good for backing up. As YouTubers, content creators, we're making videos all the time. You can upload, you can back up your videos onto a separate hard drive in case your computer crashes. Like, not to point out Dre's situation, but with his Surface laptop that died on him. Now, if he, hypothetically, if he had something like this and he did a periodic backup, then if the computer goes down, he has this on a separate hard drive as a backup. That's just one case example right there. And this also,
I do have the videos here. I just haven't.
It also works on the solid state drives as well. This plugs directly in. So if you have a solid state drive like this, it has a slot in there. So this plugs directly into it. So not just the big oversized traditional hard drives, but also the solid state drives. So I have that video coming. And weather permitting, tomorrow I will have the new case. The case by Fantex NV5. I will do an unbox showcasing what this case is capable of without throwing all the tech specs at you guys, as always. Because, I mean, you're doing research on YouTube. What's one thing you hate? You hate when they are giving you every single detail except, hey, does this work? Hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Those are the questions that Dimension Tech and Dave's Dimension is going to be giving you this week. So we're going to be doing a few tech videos, and I have a bunch of stuff I need to unbox, but I may decide to not unbox those, and we may save those for a little something happening later this year known as Stream for the Cure. So guys, stay tuned for that. I just registered yesterday for Roswell Park for Ride for Roswell. Team Dimension. And I'm still waiting to hear back from them to see if maybe we can do, anyone out there who wants to join me can ride virtually, possibly. I'm looking into that to see if that's something we could do as well, guys. And I'm hoping everyone out there will be ready, willing, and able to help support Stream for the Cure to help raise money for Roswell Park. I know Dre is ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I already.
Would you like to know more?
I've already mentioned it to everybody on both the streams I did earlier today. I spoke with my local comic book shop today. He is going to be helping me curate one box, and then I'm they're going to work with me as on a box, and then I'm curating a box through a sponsor to see if they can help out, because I think they would. So
awesome. And that's going to be the actual stream itself is going to be taking place sometime either the end of April or early May. We usually do it around early May, but usually beginning of May is also my wife's birthday, so we may not do it then. We might just do it at the end of April, but we got to see what's going on. The very first year we did 10 hours. I am tempted to try and do another 10-hour stream again this year, so we'll see what happens. You might be saying, Dave, 10 hours? Were you nuts? Have you guys met me?
And
look who I partnered with.
Like movie watch along.
Look who I partnered with. I mean, come on.
Exactly. I mean, come on. If you don't think that we can't do 10 hours standing on our heads,
And I mean, who knows? I know there's rumblings that this could be a very mythic stream, but who knows?
Oh yeah, because Dave.
See what I did there? See what I did? Huh?
I'm glad you kind of threw that in there, my sponsor. Yeah. But we'll see. I'm working on stuff. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of irons in the fire.
Dre's working those corners.
I'm not working the corners. I would never. My wife would kill me. I'm smart. I'm just trying.
Well, as long as you give her cut, right?
Hell no. She's greedy. She's greedy as sin. It's just me. I do have a lot of irons in the fire for stuff that we're trying to get for this, because everything's important. This is an important thing for Dave, Roxanne, and several other people. This is whenever anything's important.
This is year 10 for her. riding in Ride for Roswell. It's my 4th year. I am registering to do the Canadian route again. I'm keeping my options open. If we don't raise enough for me to do Canadian route, then there's a 45-mile country route that I'll probably be doing instead. So, guys, stay tuned with that. Also, I am looking for people who want to help with behind the scenes, helping promote the fundraiser.
You can use that.
Sharing links on streams or other social media, getting the word out there, helping to raise money as much as possible. Those who know me on Facebook, I have a page set up on Facebook as well. So, helping to share that out. Dre already did that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, cancer affects us all, guys. It affects our family members, our best friends, or even loved ones, best friends.
I lost
My
4
mother,
people. I lost 4 people to it.
Roxanne, my wife, has lost so many people, and that's why she rides. We have a good family friend who is battling cancer right now. It's things do not look great, but we're hoping that changes. I have a part of my extended family who is facing this as well. So I mean, it is very personal for me this year because I know people who I firsthand people who I care about who are facing this. So I mean, you know, again, it's not necessarily a contest. Whatever we raise, whether it's 500 or 5,000, that's more money that goes to directly towards Roswell Park. I did say this in a previous video. We will not be handling money this year.
Nope.
The way you're going to be doing it, if you want to be entered for any giveaways, is you would make a donation. You'll take a screen capture of that donation, whether it's on your cell phone or taking a screen cap on your computer, and you're going to message me with that information through my Instagram at Dave's_dimension, or by messaging me directly on Facebook if you're friends with me on Facebook, that is. So you'll either do it either through that or email. You send us that information, much like we did with Colin's school lunch fundraiser. That's the route we're going to take. We're not handling any money personally. You'll donate directly to the website itself. Okay.
And there's no prizes that, like, we're not doing, like, oh, no money is coming to us directly. You're not buying a merchandise or anything.
Correct.
What you do is you submit that to us. You did something.
This is going to be donating directly towards Roswell Park. This is not going to be a situation where we're hawking merchandise. Some YouTubers have done that in the past, supposedly, and that's not something that we want. This to be as honest as possible. Okay, there's no scams, no gimmicks here. That's not what we're about. But we're keeping everything above board. We're letting you guys know how we're going to run it. Sadly, I have seen some people do some scams out there. That's not us. That's not how we roll. But like I said, it's the stream that we're playing so far is going to be one big, massive open stream. Maybe we'll do some Lego builds. Maybe we'll do some hangouts. Maybe we'll talk some movie news. Who knows? We're looking at all different kinds of activities. Who knows? Gundam builds? I don't know. We're looking at everything. And it may even be longer than 10 hours. Hell, who knows? If I'm feeling froggy enough, maybe I'll do a whole 24-hour stream.
Dang, he's going hard.
Okay. Like I said, this year's a little bit personal this year. Okay. And if it's me doing 24-hour stream, I'll do a 24-hour stream. If I'm really tired, that's perfectly fine. There are people who are losing their lives. Okay. Roswell Park is the leading cancer research and treatment center in the United States. Okay. They have literally been around since the 1890s. Ride for Roswell has been around since, I think, around 1989 was the first year it started. Okay. Last year, they raised $5.7 or $5.8 million in cancer research and development. They do treatment there. I mean, they have improved the quality of life. They've extended people's lives. Not everyone gets that, but let's just step up and let's make that difference. Okay. Every dollar, I say it, every dollar, every nickel, every dime makes the world a difference. My wife is part of a bowling league. Every week she has this piggy bank that she brings in for Roswell Park, and people drop money in, and you'd be amazed how much money, a nickel, a dime, 5 cents in someone's pocket, they throw it in there, it adds up. And I mean, last year I think she raised almost, I want to say $2,700.
Nice.
And half of that, sorry, people above me are being idiots and pounding on the floor, which is my ceiling. If you guys heard that banging, I apologize. Uh, but literally every nickel, every dime makes a world of difference, and that's what we're asking for, guys. So, Dre, what do you say every week?
I always say, watch your heads on the way out of the portal. We'll see you next time.
Guys, take it easy. Like I always say, keep on busting, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Take care.